They say the worst betrayals come from the people you trust the most. I never thought I'd be that guy, the one with the oblivious smile, thinking his marriage was solid while his wife laughed at him behind his back. But that's exactly who I was, until that night. It started so casually, so innocently. Amanda was in the shower, humming to herself, completely unaware that her carefully constructed web of lies was about to unravel. Her phone sat on the nightstand, lighting up with a notification. Normally, I wouldn't have even glanced at it. I wasn't the type to snoop. But something made me look. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was fate. Sarah's name flashed across the screen. Her best friend. The same woman who had been at our wedding, who had smiled at me over dinner just last week. I tapped the message out of curiosity, expecting some mindless gossip. Instead, what I saw nearly made my heart stop. I can't believe you actually like the size of a veil that's half as big as his. My mind couldn't process it at first. I read it again. And again. Veil? That had to be a typo. No one talks about a veil like that. Then the realization set in, cold and suffocating. I wasn't stupid, I knew exactly what that word was supposed to be. Amanda was talking about another man. About being with another man. And worse, she was mocking me while doing it. My stomach twisted into a knot so tight it felt like I might throw up. A part of me wanted to believe there was an innocent explanation, that I was misinterpreting things. But deep down, I already knew. The words were right there, plain as day. Amanda had been with someone else, and Sarah, her closest confidant, was laughing about it with her. I sat there in stunned silence, gripping the phone so hard my knuckles went white. The woman I had loved for years, the woman I had built a life with, had betrayed me in the worst possible way. A hot wave of anger surged through me, but I forced myself to stay still. Reacting now, bursting into the bathroom and confronting her, would get me nothing but lies. I knew how Amanda worked, she'd twist the truth, spin a story, gaslight me into thinking I was crazy. No. If she thought I was too blind to see it, I'd let her believe that for now. I needed proof. The sound of the water stopped. I barely had enough time to lock her phone and set it back on the nightstand before she stepped out, wrapped in a towel, her damp hair clinging to her shoulders. She smiled at me, smiled, like nothing had happened. "Hey, babe," she said, her voice casual. "Miss me?" My throat felt like sandpaper, but I managed a nod. "Yeah." She leaned down, pressing a quick kiss to my forehead before grabbing her phone. I watched her out of the corner of my eye. She swiped up, read the message, then chuckled like it was nothing more than a joke between friends. I wanted to scream at her. How could you do this to me? How long has this been going on? Who the hell is he? But I swallowed it all down, forcing myself to act normal. Because now, I had a mission. That night, I lay beside Amanda in bed, staring at the ceiling while she slept soundly, completely unaware that everything had changed. I listened to the rhythmic sound of her breathing, the same sound I had found comfort in for years. But now, it made me sick. I had been living in a lie. I wasn't going to be the fool anymore. I had to know the full truth. And when I did, she'd never see me coming. I couldn't unsee that message. It burned itself into my brain, looping over and over like some cruel joke played at my expense. Amanda, my wife, the woman I had trusted with everything, had been with another man. And worse, she was mocking me for it. But I couldn't act yet. Not without knowing the full extent of her betrayal. So, I played dumb. During the day, I acted like the same old, boring, predictable, too serious husband she thought I was. I still kissed her good morning, still asked how her day was, still played the role she had trained me to play. But at night, when she was asleep, that's when the real work began. I started checking her phone. Carefully. Cautiously. making sure everything was exactly how she left it. And that's how I found him. Brad. Even his name made my stomach churn. Their messages weren't just casual flirtation. They were filthy. Shameless. They talked about intimacy in graphic detail, things she had never once suggested to me in all our years together. The things she told him she loved doing. She had outright refused when I'd brought them up. And there, in black and white, she was eager to do them with him. That wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was how they talked about me. He's so clueless, lol. I've trained him well, he never even asks where I am anymore. Honestly, he's just, there. He's like a houseplant that pays the bills. I clenched my jaw so hard I thought my teeth might crack. A houseplant. That's what I was to her. Just a lifeless, decorative object that provided her with financial stability while she snuck off with Brad whenever she pleased. I kept scrolling. My hands were shaking, but I couldn't stop. I needed to know everything. I needed to see it all, no matter how much it destroyed me. And then, there it was. A hotel reservation. 2 nights from now. A 5-star place downtown. Paid for with my money. I should have been furious. I was furious. But a strange sort of calm settled over me as I stared at that confirmation email. She thought she was untouchable. She thought she had me so well trained that I'd never catch on. That's when I decided. She wouldn't see me coming. From that moment on, I became someone else. Someone sharper. More calculated. I started gathering everything, screenshots of texts, call logs, emails, even the damn hotel receipts. I stored them all in a hidden folder on my own phone. If I was going to destroy Amanda, I was going to do it properly. But I wasn't just focused on the evidence. No, I needed to make sure she never suspected a thing. So, I went the extra mile. I started complimenting her more, bringing home flowers for no reason, making spontaneous dinner reservations. And it worked. She was thrilled. She thought it was because I was a fool in love, desperate to please her. But the truth? I wanted her to feel safe. Comfortable. I wanted her to think that I was still in the dark, blissfully unaware. Because the safer she felt, the more reckless she would become. And she did. 2 nights later, she got dressed up for her girls' night out. She had the nerve to kiss me goodbye. The moment she walked out the door, I was in my car, following her. She didn't go to Sarah's place. She didn't go to a bar with her friends. She drove straight to the hotel. My stomach twisted as I watched her hand the valet her keys, her face glowing with excitement as she walked inside. That look used to be for me. I waited. 5 minutes. 10. Then I walked in after her. The front desk was easy to crack. I acted like a forgetful husband who wanted to surprise his wife but had forgotten which room she was in. The receptionist gave me the number without hesitation. I stood outside the door. I could hear them laughing inside. I clenched my fists. Every muscle in my body screamed at me to kick the door down, to storm in and confront them. But that wasn't the plan. Instead, I pulled out my phone and started recording. First, the room number. Then, the sound of their voices. Then, the text I sent her. Miss you. Hope you're having fun with the girls. Can't wait to see you later. Love you. A few seconds later, I heard her phone ping. Then, her voice, light, casual, a complete lie. Love you too, babe. See you soon. We're just having drinks now. That was all I needed. I turned and walked away, the recording saved. Let her enjoy her little getaway. Let her think she had one. Because soon, she was going to lose everything. By the time Amanda came home that night, I had already memorized every single detail of her betrayal. I knew the exact time she had texted Brad, the disgusting words they shared, and most importantly, the look of pure excitement she wore as she walked into that hotel. I stayed awake, lying in bed, pretending to be asleep when she slipped under the covers beside me. She smelled like expensive cologne. Not mine. She had no idea I had been there. No idea I had stood outside that hotel room door, recording every moment, every word, every lie she told me over text while she was in bed with another man. And that was perfect. She felt safe. She thought she was still in control. But the truth was, she was already losing, and she didn't even know it yet. I didn't confront her the next morning. That would have been too easy. Too merciful. Instead, I played my role. When she woke up, stretching and sighing as if she hadn't just spent the night in another man's bed, I smiled at her. I asked if she had fun with Sarah. She gave me a sleepy nod, rubbing her eyes, then mumbled something about one too many cocktails. I nodded like the idiot she thought I was. She had no idea that in my phone was an entire archive of her deception. Over the next few days, I carefully built my case. I transferred every piece of evidence onto a secure hard drive, texts, call logs, pictures of her hotel receipts, and even the voice recording of her lying to me while she was in bed with Brad. But I didn't just want to catch her. I wanted to ruin her. I dug deeper. I went through our finances, searching for anything else she was hiding. And guess what? She wasn't just using our money for cheap motel rooms and expensive gifts for Brad, she was draining our savings. I found withdrawals, transfers to accounts I had never seen before. Some even went directly to Brad. My wife wasn't just cheating on me. She was funding her new life with my hard-earned money. And that was the final straw. I wasn't just going to divorce Amanda. I was going to make sure she left with nothing. The next step was setting the trap. I made sure everything looked normal. I still played the doting husband, still kissed her goodbye every morning, still acted like the clueless fool she thought I was. And then, I set up the big reveal. Our anniversary was coming up, a fancy dinner, family, friends, the whole event. It was perfect. Because Amanda loved public attention. She loved being the center of it all, pretending she was the perfect wife, the perfect partner. She had no idea I was about to burn that perfect image to the ground. I made the reservations myself. I sent out the invitations. I even made a toast in advance, one that would end her. And then, I waited. Amanda, of course, continued her routine. More secret meetings, more late-night texts, more whispered phone calls. But she didn't realize that every single thing she did was being tracked. Every step she took brought her closer to her own downfall. She was walking straight into the fire, and she didn't even see it. And God, I couldn't wait to watch her burn. The night of our anniversary arrived, and Amanda was radiant, her hair perfectly styled, her dress hugging her body in a way she knew would turn heads. She had no idea that tonight, the only thing people would be staring at, was her downfall. We walked into the restaurant, hand in hand, like the happy couple she pretended we were. Our friends and family were already seated, waiting to celebrate us. Amanda played her part beautifully. She laughed. She kissed my cheek. She whispered, "I love you," like she hadn't just been in another man's bed 2 nights ago. I smiled back. Not because I believed her. But because I knew something she didn't. After the appetizers, Amanda stood up to make a toast. She tapped her glass, smiling at the crowd, her voice dripping with fake sincerity. "I just want to say how lucky I am to have such an amazing husband." I nearly choked on my drink. "Matt, you are my rock, my best friend. I know I don't always show it, but I love you more than anything in this world." Lies. Every single word. The audacity of this woman to stand in front of our loved ones and perform like she hadn't been sneaking around with Brad behind my back. I let her finish. I let her bask in the glow of her own deception. And then, I stood up. "Thank you, Amanda," I said, my voice calm. "That was beautiful." I reached into my pocket, pulling out the remote for the restaurant's projector screen. "And since you love surprises, I have one for you too." I pressed play. The screen flickered to life. At first, it was just text messages. Amanda's texts. "He's so clueless, lol. I've trained him well, he never even asks where I am anymore." Then, the receipts. The hotel bookings. The transfers of money. The proof. Gasps filled the room. Amanda's face turned ghost white. "Matt, stop." But I wasn't finished. Because the last thing I played, was the voice recording. Her voice, in bed with Brad, texting me a lie while she was lying to me. "Ah, love you too, babe. See you soon. We're just having drinks now." Silence. Dead silence. Then, whispers. Murmurs. Her mother covered her mouth in horror. Her father looked furious. "Amanda?" She looked like she was about to collapse. "Matt, we can talk about this." Her voice was shaking. I tilted my head. "Talk about what, Amanda? How you stole our money to fund your little adventures. How you laughed about me behind my back. How you turned me into a joke." She grabbed my hand, desperation in her eyes. "Please, not here." I pulled my hand away. "You weren't worried about here when you were screwing Brad, were you?" A chair scraped back. Brad. The coward had been here the whole time, sitting with Amanda's friends, his face now red as the whole room turned to him. His fiancée, because yes, he had one, stood up too, shaking. "You cheating bastard." Brad swallowed hard. "Babe, I can explain." Smack. She slapped him so hard the whole restaurant heard it. And I just smiled. Because I won. Amanda ran out in tears, but I didn't go after her. I had nothing left to say. I turned to the guests, still reeling from the spectacle. "Enjoy the meal, everyone. It's on Amanda. She's been paying for a lot of things lately." And then, I walked out. I left Amanda with her shame, her humiliation, her ruin. She had thought she could have it all. The perfect husband and her little secret life on the side. But she underestimated me. And now, she had nothing. Amanda didn't come home that night. I wasn't surprised. After the disaster at the restaurant, she had no choice but to flee, her perfectly constructed world crumbling around her. Her parents had disowned her on the spot, Brad's fiancée had left him in a rage, and every friend who had once gushed about how perfect Amanda and I were now saw her for what she really was, a liar, a fraud, a selfish, cheating woman who had thrown away everything for a cheap thrill. I, on the other hand, was finally free. But my work wasn't done yet. The next morning, Amanda called me. I let it ring. Then, she texted. "Matt, please, I need to talk to you." I left her on read. It wasn't until the third missed call that she left a voicemail. "Matt, please. I don't know where to go. I need you. I made a mistake, okay? I know I screwed up, but we can fix this. We can." I deleted it before she could finish. We weren't fixing anything. The papers had already been drawn up. I had contacted my lawyer months ago when I first suspected something was wrong. I wasn't just throwing her out of my life, I was erasing her from it. I filed for divorce that same morning. And because of the evidence I had gathered, Amanda wasn't getting a damn thing. The house? Mine. The savings? Protected. The alimony she thought she'd bleed from me? Not a chance. And the best part? Her attempts to drain our money and fund her new life with Brad. Illegal. By the end of the week, Amanda's bank account was frozen, her credit cards cancelled, and her reputation in flames. But karma wasn't done with her yet. 2 weeks later, I got a call from her father. I hadn't spoken to him much before all of this, but now. His voice was ice cold. I just wanted to tell you, son. You did the right thing. I didn't respond, letting him continue. We cut her off. She came to us, begging for help after what she did, but I told her she wasn't our daughter anymore. She made her choice. I closed my eyes, letting the weight of it sink in. And Brad? I asked. A bitter chuckle came through the line. Dumped her the second he realized she didn't have your money anymore. Guess he didn't love her as much as she thought. I exhaled slowly. Amanda had lost everything. Her husband. Her home. Her family. Even the man she had betrayed me for. She was left with nothing but the ruins of her own choices. And I was free. I never saw Amanda again after that. People said she left town, embarrassed and broken. And honestly, I didn't care. Because for the first time in years, I was alive. No more secrets. No more lies. Just peace. One day, months later, I got another text from an unknown number. I miss you. Can we talk? I didn't even hesitate. Blocked. Amanda was just a bad memory now. A lesson learned. And my life? It was just beginning.